I think it's the creating I love. And so I bow to serendipity. Plants self-sow all over the gravel. I'm interested that they do that. When I see a garden like that, I see a garden in reality. But a garden still needs composition, contrast of shape, contrast of color, and repetition.
I need a little cutting of wood, which I'm going to use to graft, and that will create another apple tree. People that buy in a store want perfection. The people that buy directly are a little more forgiving. I'm always on the lookout for any new varieties, and I've got what I think is probably the best selection in the world. We're trying to give them the real story on apples. In other words, don't worry what it looks like. What does it taste like? I'm planting tree number 84. I do about 900 a year. Trying to get a tree in here that grows well, and it's an amazing variety called Delbard Estivale, which is a fairly modern variety out of France. Delbard is the French company that bred it, and Estivale is the French word meaning summer. You have to grow a variety that's a good variety. And look at these guys. Constant battle. I want the worms left in the soil. They want to eat them. And what I've got here, it's a mycorrhizal powder. It helps the roots grow, makes the tree stronger, and the tree feeds the mycorrhiza. Okay, so there's a beautiful root. I guess I always wanted to raise apples. About 1980, I did end up buying land on Salt Stream because I knew it was a good growing climate. And it is perfect for apples. I retired at age 50 and went to Salt Spring. The very next year, in '99, I put the first apple festival together. And that was designed to get people connected with good apples. Now, because of rabbits, we need to have fencing here because they love apple twigs. There you go. And now I got more grafting material right here. I get a location that has the same diameter. There we go. An angled cut. It's got a very nice oval shape. And then I want the exact same length of oval on here. The tongue is basically a cut that goes straight down into the wood to help lock them together. I just slide these two together. The tongues lock, and that helps to keep that graft really tight. They don't need staking. They're a nice, strong tree. They grow well, produce a real healthy apple tree. The apple is actually part of the rose family, Rosaceae. I love roses, so I got a lot around here. This one is called Sweet Joliet, which is a David Austin rose. Fragrance. Robert Frost has a poem A rose is a rose and is always a rose, but the story now goes that the apple's a rose. And so is the plum and pear. What next will prove to be a rose? We're certified organic. I let lots of vegetation grow at the edge of my orchard. I would call it permaculture. Stinging nettle makes a beautiful host plant for all insects, which means you get a good balance. Fuller's teasel especially is a real good bee plant, as is comfrey. I value blackberries. The soil under a blackberry is the best soil you'll ever get anywhere. Chickens roam the whole orchard, so they're eating and fertilizing. It's all part of the diversity that we encourage. This is bacron. It produces a beautiful dark red inside. The reds have a lot more tart to them because of the red coloring, the anthocyanins. This has red wood. Leave that for the chickens.
I try to shape the lavender so they're all tight domes. It's very satisfying. This never gets watered all summer. It's whatever nature provides, and the plants either survive or they don't. I try not to get too carried away here. I love this particular spot because it was full of challenges. One being the fact that we're limited with water, and secondly, we didn't fence the whole garden, so we have to contend with the deer, who are voracious. I think it's important that the garden development be harmonious with the greater landscape. You're making a community of like-minded plants or like-growing plants, a community which is going to want to grow together and somewhat self-supporting. I don't think you can go wrong if you think in terms like that. I tend not to be flowery in the deer garden area. I go with the trend that the Mediterranean gardens have, which is kind of a base of shrubs, which can take drought and give you a volume that is filled all year. I had an irrigated garden in West Vancouver. I had all kinds of specialty plants, terrestrial orchids and peat banks and the whole 9 yards. So this is different. The basic idea is that it looks carefree because it looks down on the water, and I didn't want to have rows of pink geraniums or things that weren't in harmony with a wilder setting. Since we're on the ocean, the grasses are valuable because of the movement. And the movement is enlivening to the scene and to your spirit, I think. It's a great thing to look out and see all the grasses moving and waving in the wind. My parents had a big garden, and they were adventuresome. My mother grew Echinopsis in the 50s, and she got the seed from England. And my father, he belonged to the Royal Horticultural Society, the Rhododendron Society of Britain, the Camellia Society. I have a whole box of my father's notebooks. That's euphorbia. It's a plant from the Mediterranean. It can grow here without any problem. The deer don't eat it. It doesn't need water. It is nasty to get on your skin. nastier to get in your eyes. That said, I love it. You can see it's dripping. Sometimes people won't plant it in their garden, but if you understand how it grows, you can manage it. It's a good plant, just be cautious. I did a lot of research about gardening in a dry spot. Then I just experimented, and if something did really well one year, it was a keeper. If it got chewed to the ground or got frosted right out, then something else had to go in, or maybe sometimes you just value the space. I like a strong architectural shape, and then I like space around it. So you get nice shadows that way. A south-facing slope tends to get very warm. The bonus of that slope was that we didn't have any trees on it, and so there is no competition for whatever moisture there is.
What they're waiting for is a little bee to come along and take pollen from one onto the other. Here's one right here. This one here is mudding up the last hole. Orchard bees put eggs in, and then they put a mud barrier, eggs, mud barrier, filling up a 6-inch hole. They've all hatched now, and they've all done their thing. They only last about 3 weeks altogether. These are designed specifically to be happening at the time the apple blossoms out, so they are an apple pollinator. They're in this peat moss because the roots have to be kept moist. Every tree in this row is given a row number and the tree numbers. There's going to be 900 trees in here, so you want to be able to find that. In the past, I always watered from the surface, and a lot of that surface water never gets down to the roots. So I developed something I think is really going to work, and this is just an old ski pole, and what I've done is, basically, I wanted to get water down to the roots. Every tree gets this thing shoved right down beside it and gets a little bit of water. Half of these varieties I've never tasted myself. Until 5 years comes and it starts producing, I don't know whether it's a good one. I have a list here of my 200 varieties. This tree is ready, and we're going to pick a sample for the tasting table. Not only is it a beautiful red flesh, but it's also a very tasty apple, and it's quite juicy. So that's why this is such a popular one on the tasting table. So this one will stay in this orchard. It won't ever get cut down, guaranteed. Let's pick a few more here. Zabergau Renette. Wouldn't sell in stores because people don't like russeting, but they don't realize that russeting is the advertising for an amazing apple inside. People in the store want pretty, And pretty doesn't always get you the best apple. Zabergau Renette, an apple I've never tasted before. So did we make the right decision about 6 years ago? I hope so. I still have an axe if it's not good. There's the tasting apples for Red Love Sirena. We get lots of volunteers helping to make that apple festival work. Pull on that table, Alia. Pull on it. That's it. Good one. Well, just right now, we're just trying to get these set up in alphabetic order. No, it hangs right up from the top. There's 2 little hooks in the ceiling there. It's just art. We want art and apples. Okay? Right here. Here, I'll show you. There's John of Gold, and there's John of Gold. We have 489 varieties on display. I want this like this.
All right, gotcha.
Like, yeah, name in behind the apple, yeah. Good. Can you believe that order comes out of this? Wow. The locals love it, and the people from away love it. That's a winning combination.
I grow a lot of plants from seed. When I first came here, I was interested in growing a lot of southern hemisphere plants. So I have a lot of olerias from New Zealand, which seem to be really comfortable. There are 3 zones within the garden. The front seaside garden, unfenced, open to the deer, wind, and maybe a little salt spray. I have another central garden, and I decided that it would be a gravel garden. The woodland, or third part of the garden, consists of plants which do need irrigation. If you make a garden with a community of plants which want to grow together, even though they're from different continents, it will be aesthetically pleasing. You keep moving around in your garden and you think, all right, something is splendid. And then, okay, I can get more of whatever that's related to. After I've dug up something, moved in compost, mixed up soil, divided whatever it is, and made it comfy, I really feel satisfied. I can't fool myself that I'm creating an Instagram garden. I'm not, for maybe 1 minute in one small section, but not overall. I really appreciate gardens in their less than perfect state. It's an energy force when you enjoy doing that and having the adventure of seeing what happens.
There'll be a ferry coming in a minute. 9:35 that ferry gets in. I have about 200 types. I've only got 80 for tasting. 80 for tasting, yeah. And you won't get the varieties I sell anywhere else. This is another one called Niedweckiana. This just drives the pie ladies crazy. It's a good one. The Apple Festival is meant to connect people with Salt Spring, and it's a way of helping all the other people on the island too. Okay, there you go. There's your program. And just one adult, right? It is a good community. Okay. Lots of talents and lots of caring people. J-U-D-Y or I? Okay, 10. We help each other and we care about each other, and that's very important. Lots of apple love happening. Here people can taste, and the people here tell me they can't eat store-bought apples anymore. They just don't even try. Because what they get here, grown naturally, are just so much better. Hold of me and I'll connect you with Lori. You guys need to be together, you know, connected. How you doing?
I like your apple.
Good. It's not easy getting around here. It's pretty wild, but
That's worth it.
and if you get lost, just yell help or something, and we'll send a search party. We had about 1,600 people come, and they were just apple crazy, which is the best type of crazy in the world.